Shalom, shalom, akiyam. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. I would also like to give a double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. I would also like to say peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000 men of Israel, which consists of the servants, the prophets, whom have been ordained since the foundations of this earth to sing this new song, which comes in the form of this gospel, which will be preached throughout all four corners of this earth and rest upon the ears of the innumerable multitude, men, women, and children of Israel, who may be scattered throughout all four corners of this earth. It's just Bayan back again through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And I just wanted to get into a brief lesson and, Lord willing, share this clip with you, Akiyam and Akwaf, going into the valley of the shadow of death, man, okay, which would be America, a place where there's many places to fall, and as you Akiyam and Akwaf are aware of, the food is poison, man. The food is poison. We're in a position where, we're eating the best, the best of the worst, man. Ultimately scriptures go into how it would be like this, under this wicked ruler, all right, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. During the time of his blessing, the world would be in a disarray. The earth will be defiled under the inhabitants thereof, pursuant to Isaiah the 24th chapter. We understand that under this man's rule, nothing but death, okay, is present. And you see, so this man is a demon. All right, and ultimately, Babylon the Great, all right, America, all right, this is why it's coined. This is one of the reasons why it's coined. As the abominations, man, the abominations of the earth, as you read in Revelations. What's that? Revelation 17 and 5, if I'm not mistaken. This place is it's a melting pot. It's the epicenter for death, man. This is why the American people are overweight, for the most part. They have all types of ailments, from diabetes to cancer, man. Okay, and it's due to the diet. This Western diet is deadly. Okay, and we're gonna show you that, man, in this video. But through the spirit and power, Yahweh Bashmel Shalom, willing you Akiyam and Akwa to edify, just more credible information to bring out, regarding this devil and his wickedness, man. And these things will have to be accounted for in the day of his judgment. All right, now let's go here real quick through the spirit, showing you that this man's not wise. Okay, as a matter of fact, let's grab this first, Ezekiel, because I had mentioned how I'm going through the spirit, go through the spirit on this one, completely through the spirit. Ezekiel 4 and verse 13, it reads, "And the Lord Yahweh said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them," man. You see, now real quick, I want to bear with me. Let's get this in the KJV, switch this up. Let's get this word defiled. Bear with me.
Strong's H2931. Tameh. Tameh.
All right. And then you go under biblical usage. It goes into what? Unclean, okay? Impure. You see? Unclean, impure. And, you know, what you're going to find out if you don't already know, you know, for the most part, you beloved Akiyam and Akwaf are aware. But if you don't know, you know, this food, a lot of this American food, okay, it's something called ultra processed, man. All right, it's ultra processed. You see where it goes through various levels of processing, man. All right, and it's masked, okay, with salt, you know, and all types of dangerous, harmful ingredients in efforts to give off a synthetic taste, texture, what have you. Okay, but in reality, either eating glue or silly putty, you know, dangerous oils, man, that you would use to lubricate machinery. You name it. All right, showing you that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is working, man. Okay, we're eating poison and we live because prophecy has to play out ultimately. But this is the state that we're in. All right, we're eating our bread defiled, unclean, impure. You see, artificial. A lot of this food's artificial, polluted. Look, polluted. You see, and who do we have to blame for that? All right, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Bear with me. I have two of these up. Let me go get this one. God damn. Bear with me, Akiyam and Akwaf. This phone's got a demon on it right now. Let me knock this one off. And we'll go like this. We'll get that out of here. And I didn't want to do that. Let's get this. Let's get that Ezekiel again and read that again. And continue on. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 4, and verse 13, it reads, "And the Lord Yahweh said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled, right, or polluted, or impure, okay, bread among the Gentiles, whether I drive them, man." And why? Because of the evil, the ruler that be. You see? The man that has no sense of understanding when it comes to anything. All right, let's go here real quick. Let's go to Sirach before we grab this clip. The book of Sirach, chapter 10, and verse 1, and it reads, "A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered." Right? And I'm going to jump down to verse 3. That's the point. "An unwise king destroyeth his people," man. You see? This is how we know Esau's unwise, man. Why would you feed your people within your realm, within your kingdom, okay? Poison. Why would you try to get rid of them? When here it is, without them, you're nothing. It tells you that in Proverbs, man. A prince is nothing without servants, man. How much more a king? Showing you he has no wisdom. Look, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited, man. And upon the erecting of the kingdom of heaven, okay, upon the return of our Lord Yahweh Shai, order is going to be established, man. And no longer are we going to be living under these conditions right here, man. Okay, the earth is going to be brought back, okay, to a paradise. All right, now I'm going to play this video. All right, now this is a video that came across my feed through the Spirit, and I ain't paid much mind to it, but the Spirit hit. You know what? This might be good information to bring out. Fair use. I want to make that point. Fair use is for educational purposes only. Fair use.
Conglomerates like Kraft and Kellogg's have made over $1 trillion. What if I told you these ridiculous ads
Did you say I'll feel better smoking Philip Morris?
Yes, you'll feel better.
are not all that different from these ads?
Now, every box of Kellogg's Rice Krispies cereal has antioxidants and nutrients that help support your child's immune system.
For decades, massive food conglomerates like Kraft and Kellogg's have made over $1 trillion through the manipulation of food science and food scientists, and ultimately, us. And their goal is much like big tobacco's, to do and say whatever they can to get people to buy their product over and over and over again until their product is no longer a want, but a need.
To whose advantage is it to keep the public confused about what to eat? Well, obviously, it's the food industry's advantage.
No, in reality, alright, it's the global elite that control the food industries. You see? That's the truth behind this situation here. Okay, because they're allowing it. They control all these food industries. Alright, they're the one that orchestrated this Ponzi scheme. You can't expect her to tell you that. But anyways.
Processed foods make up over half of the American diet, and do so with little scrutiny from health experts or government officials. And the food industry is terrified. Even if Americans skip one ultra-processed snack or meal a day, sales would plummet by 7%. Every 5 years, the Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee meets to review the relevant research and give the American public advice about the latest nutrition science. The processed food conglomerates are attempting to sabotage as we speak.
I mean, in every possible way in which they can use their money and political power to encourage people to think their products are good and are willing to help them sell their products, they're going to do that.
The evidence is grim. Ultra-processed foods are being linked in study after study to things like heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Researchers are beginning to understand that many of them are functionally addictive. So, who will win in this battle between big food and science? We set out to investigate, and in the process learn the disturbing truth about how big tobacco's lies continue to make Americans sick.
When you change to Philip Morris, you'll feel better.
So, what exactly are ultra-processed foods? We asked molecular biologist and nutritionist Mary Nessel.
These are foods that are industrially produced. They require machinery and they require ingredients that you don't have access to. So industrially produced, designed to be irresistibly delicious. That's their purpose. Corn on the cob is unprocessed. Canned corn, frozen corn are processed. Doritos are ultra-processed.
It's not just junk food, to be clear. Many breakfast cereals, granola, and protein bars, diet foods, frozen dinners, sauces, and yogurt fit the ultra-processed label and are implicated in causing disease.
A few years ago, I was writing about salt, and I went to the biggest companies and said, look, salt has become like this public enemy number one because of its links to heart disease, and why aren't you cutting back on your use of salt? And Kellogg's, said to me, hey, come on in, we'll show you.
That's Michael Moss, journalist and author of Hooked, a book about how food giants exploit our addictions.
And we put some saltless cornflakes in the bowl. I didn't even know cornflakes had salt, but they do. But these saltless cornflakes went in our bowl, we put some milk on it, took a bite. And before I could say anything, the chief spokeswoman for Kellogg's was sitting there with me, and she gets this look of horror on her face. And she swallows and she blurts out, metal, I taste metal, M-E-T-A-L. And I was kind of thinking the same thing, which was one of my fillings had come out and was sloshing around. And the chief technical officer sitting there too, and he's kind of in charge of all things scientific, he laughs and he goes, not all people will taste that, but one of the beautiful things about salt for us is that it will cover up some of the off notes, bad taste, that are inherent to kind of the manufacturing process. And so the reason you see so much salt, sugar, fat, and other sort of problematic ingredients in these products is that the companies are using those ingredients as part of the industrial process for the manufacturing, for the shelf life, things you don't need to worry about as a home cook.
While our food environment is saturated with the salty and sugary goodness of ultra-processed food, something else is happening. We are constantly bombarded with nutritional advice about how to stay healthy, what foods can ward off cancer or diabetes, and which ones are slowly killing us. And these two realities are actually deeply related. Let's go back to 2015, when Kraft successfully marketed their singles, which cannot legally be called cheese, as a health food.
Kraft American Singles have double the calcium of many other American slices, plus vitamin D to help grow strong bones.
In 2015, Kraft teamed up with the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, it's a professional group of nutritionists and dietitians, in a campaign called Kids Eat Right.
But what if a company wants the positive PR of going healthy, but doesn't want the hassle of actually improving their product? Well, there's a solution for them too.
We do want to move now to a new Kids Eat Right label that will soon be appearing on Kraft singles.
One of the things that food companies do is they partner with health organizations, the American Heart Association, the American Diabetes Association, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. And the idea is if you can donate to those organizations and support those organizations, then the organizations will thank you on their products. And they will say, a partner of, or whatever, and this makes it look like it's an endorsement of the products.
As researchers begin to understand the real effects of ultra-processed food on our health, food companies continue to exhaust every option to make sure the science of their foods doesn't hurt their bottom line. Sound familiar?
Tobacco companies had a big problem. More than 50, 70 years ago, there was research coming out that linked cigarette smoking to lung cancer. So the first thing they did was to cast doubt on the research.
And real quick, you heard what she said about those health organizations partnering up, okay, with these different companies to make it seem as if, okay, that product is substantial and healthy. That's deception, witchcraft. Showing you that evil is still operating under that agenda. And again, this starts with the top, okay? Because they're the ones eating at the end of the day. They're the ones that control all these corporations, man. You see, but that's deception, okay? To label something healthy or coin it a benefit to your heart or your cholesterol, and in reality, it's not. That's wicked. It's all hell, man. But hey, what do you expect when you're under the rulership of the devil?
Not enough people in the trial. Wasn't adequately controlled. Could have been due to other problems.
When it comes to ultra-processed food, the industry is stacking panels and writing op-eds doing just that. Ultra-processed foods are too broad a category, they say. People might accidentally forego a healthy food that fits the bill. And listen, there's good scientific questions around the ultra-processed label, fringe cases and exceptions to the rule, for instance. But food companies aren't trying to further the science, they're trying to torpedo it.
So, number one, cast doubt on the research. Number two, cast doubt on the researchers. Then you buy your own researchers. You recruit researchers to do their own studies, and you give them a lot of money to do that.
And here lies the tactic behind not just the fight over ultra-processed food, but all of the confusing nutritional advice we get exposed to through the media. Is the problem with childhood nutrition that they don't receive enough vitamin D or calcium? Kraft sure thinks so. Is exercise more important than diet for weight loss? I sure don't know. But Coca-Cola funded a bunch of studies that say so, just in case you thought about cutting back on soda. Food companies and their trade associations literally flood the academic space with money. Ever heard that people who eat breakfast are healthier than those that don't? Those were studies sponsored by Kellogg's and other breakfast food manufacturers.
It's the food industry's advantage to keep the public confused.
We can actually quantify how corrupt funding from corporations and trade groups can be. One review looked at industry-funded studies and found that 60% showed results favorable to the sponsor. That doesn't seem so bad, except that only 3% came to an unfavorable conclusion. The Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee should, in theory, cut through all of that noise and give the American public good, scientific information so that they can make their own decisions. But 9 of the 20 members of the committee had some conflict of interest with food, pharmaceutical, or weight loss companies.
The food industry doesn't want any suggestion in dietary guidelines of eating less of their products. It's really simple.
Remember those oddly similar ads we played a few minutes ago? It turns out that some of the biggest food companies were owned by tobacco companies until the mid-2000s. Philip Morris owned Kraft and General Foods. R.J. Reynolds owned Nabisco, until Philip Morris eventually bought that too. So it's no wonder why the same misinformation playbook is being used. What I really wanted to know was, how far do the similarities go? Did the execs at Philip Morris coach Kraft on how to hide the health consequences of their products? Did they go even further and actively try to get people hooked on their products?
My name is Tara Fazzino. I'm an assistant professor of psychology at the University of Kansas. For a number of years now, I've studied what are called hyperpalatable foods, and they have combinations of nutrients that typically don't occur in nature, and so they tend to be really rewarding to consume in kind of an unnatural way. So we may find ourselves like continuing to eat these foods even though like we're getting physiological signals telling us, oh, please stop, we've had enough.
So peanut butter, which is almost all fat, is not hyperpalatable. But if you add the right amount of salt or sugar, it is. Like if this jar had a bunch of added sodium, or we had a Reese's peanut butter cup.
We conducted some analyses and found that the foods that were produced by tobacco-owned food companies were 29% more likely to be classified as being hyperpalatable foods relative to the same types of foods that were sold during the same period of time by companies that were not tobacco-owned.
Michael Moss described to me the moment during his research when his perspective on the addictive nature of these foods flipped. It took place during a meeting with a former Philip Morris lawyer.
Steve Parrish, the general counsel, we were sitting and chatting, and he said to me, you know, Michael, I'm one of those lucky people who could smoke one cigarette a day, put the pack away, and not have any compulsion to pull it out again until the next business meeting or the next day, whatever. But I couldn't go near a bag of our Oreo cookies for fear of losing control and eating half the bag in one setting. And it was like so revealing to me because it reinforced in me that they know. I mean, the heads of these companies don't eat their own products.
While the tobacco industry got out of the food business for the most part in the 2000s, other companies took a lesson from their success in selling these addictive foods.
They accounted for roughly 50% of the food supply in '88, and by 2018, they were, almost 69% of the food supply. So we had like a 14 percentage point increase, which was pretty dramatic. The non-tobacco-owned food companies observed the successes of the tobacco-based food companies in the market and reformulated to keep up.
As someone who studies addiction, I think a lot of the rhetoric is, well, if you open a sleeve of Oreos and eat the whole thing, it's on you. It's your lack of self-control. I mean, what is your sort of take on that?
I think that narrative serves the food companies and not us as people. These foods are designed this way, and they can maximize company profits.
These are the current stakes for the Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee. What will the federal government come out and tell the American public about the health effects of ultra-processed foods? The Food and Beverage Issue Alliance, a mega trade group of other trade groups like the Sugar Association and the American Beverage Association, have already given this statement. FBIA members cautioned the committee from making strong recommendations. Another trade organization has urged the committee to discontinue using the term ultra-processed until there is consensus on an evidence-based definition. I'm not going to tell you what to eat or even how to eat, but I think it's a reasonable expectation for anyone to have access to good scientific information, to have dietary guidelines that reflect evidence rather than industry funding. Ultimately, this is a first step in a long process. One of the first studies linking tobacco to cancer was done in 1950. It wasn't until 1998 that the tobacco companies conceded and struck a deal to pay states for the medical damage they'd done and stop their aggressive and deceptive marketing practices. If we don't start now, we won't get another chance to set...
No, the only way we can fix this problem is if Esau Edom, the so-called white man, is removed from the power seat. It's the only way. Because these niggas are not built to stop. They're wired to do evil. As it tells us in Proverbs. Let's go get this real quick. You see? Hey, this is a dangerous place to fall, man. And this is why we just got to eat the best of the worst, Akiyam and Akwath, man. Keep it simple. You know, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua brought us back to the ways of the East. You know, when it comes to our diet, we're keeping it more Mediterranean now. You know, he's allowed us to tap into the herbs. You know, we know the intermittent fast is important. You know, not in fasting, you know, good hard fast, got excellent. You know, doing that from time to time. You know, not only for your health, but for your spirit. You know? Yeah, these people are running around calcified, leaky stomachs. All right, poisoned out. These people are out of their mind, man. These Westerners are running around here crazy as all hell, man. Okay, and that food, it's the food that got them tweaking. The food is the main reason why they're tweaking, why you got this road rage, you trying to take a right or a left off a highway or off a main street, and you getting beeped at, but you just trying to turn off the damn road. You know, these people are out of it. They're sickos. They're going to go psycho in the days to come. When Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua brings that famine, okay, and they can't get this poison. You know, because you heard old boy, he mentioned, yo, hey, come on, man. These foods are addictive because of the chemicals. You know, one of the individuals couldn't stay away from the Oreos because he'll eat half of the bag. He had to eat them frequently. Look at this. This is it right here. The book of Proverbs chapter 4. Well, I believe old boy homie said he got to stay away from them. He doesn't eat them because he knows if he eats them, some individual he knew, he'll eat half of the bag, and he was in fear that he'll eat half of the bag. But needless to say, hey, it all makes sense. It all adds up. Because at the end of the day, this stuff is poisonous and addictive. We know this. Check this out. The book of Proverbs chapter 4. In verse 14, it reads, 144, Ka'allah Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Okay, and we know the wicked is Esau, Edom, the so-called white men pursuing the Malachi 1 and 4. Okay, they're the harbingers of death. Okay, they are the wicked on the planet earth. The seeds of Satan. Right? Avoid it, pass not by it. Turn from it and pass away. For they sleep not except they have done mischief. And their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall, man. You see, so they can't even get a good night's rest unless they get people to drop. Okay? Showing you how they, a matter of fact, let's continue on. That's the spirit right here. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence, man. Okay? This is what they do. They're wired to do evil, man, and not good. Scriptures tell us if they do with good, they do with it unwillingly. They're not built like that, man. You see? They're not built like that. And when you go to Job, all right, and Job was a prophet, by the way. All right, he spoke of this place, man. When you go to Job, chapter 10 and verse 20, and it reads, "Are not my days few? Cease then and let me alone, that I may take comfort a little. Before I go whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death," man. What do you think Job was talking about? Believe it or not, he was talking about the West, Babylon the Great. Okay, how do we know? Let's continue on. A land of darkness, as darkness itself. Why? Because it's being ruled by Esau, Edom. Okay? The devil that the Bible speaks of, man. It tells us in First Maccabees, the first chapter, upon Antiochus Epiphanes, passing on, he split up his kingdom amongst his 4 generals, right? Well, who was it? Seleucid, Ptolemy, Cassandra, and Lysimachus. And it tells you in that very same chapter, verse or 2 down, that evils increase on the earth. These are Edomites, man, that were in a position of power, sovereignty over there in the old world, man, when that occurred. You see? Because they are the wicked. Let's read this again. Job 10 and 22, a land of darkness is darkness itself, and of the shadow of death, man. Okay? And as you can see, man, even you can't even get yourself a meal in Babylon without possibly falling ill. There's food being sold in America that will not, that they're banned in other countries, man. Look it up. Showing you that this is the abominations of the earth. All the evil and wickedness leads back to America. That's how we know this place is the abominations of the planet. You see, all the evil and wickedness is springboarded out of here elsewhere to the four corners, man. In the shadow of death, without any order. Right, without any order. Take a look around you, man. Take a look around you. Households are out of order. Women are out of order. Okay? You have all types of sexual immorality being allowed in this place. Okay? You got the nasty people just in a position of power, man. More sovereignty than you and me as heterosexuals. You see that? And that's just the tip of the iceberg, man. We can go on and on. Right? And where the light is as darkness. You see them promoting food with advertisement on it, banners on them, as if they're healthy. So here it is. You think you're doing yourself a favor. In reality, you're going further and further down the rabbit hole, man. You see what this man puts on his labels. This man's lying. He's a liar. You see? He's the father of lies, man. He's been lying since the beginning. He's been lying since the Renaissance period, man. You see? He's not gonna just lie on history. He lied on history, but he ain't stopped there. Okay? Every aspect of this man is a lie. Okay? Who he's been saying he is a lie. Okay? The Big Bang Theory, a lie. You see, everything you've learned in his educational system, lies. Who he's been telling you who you are, lies. Okay? The Ice Age, a lie. This man's a liar. Complete liar. All right, and within his world that we're living in, all right, hey, the spirit got to be leading you, man. But ultimately, hey, you got all these people eating Cheerios thinking it's doing that heart a favor. In reality, it ain't doing you nothing but causing you to get diabetes later. You see? So we need Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. We are in that valley, man. We're in that valley, that low land. You see? The land of the shadow of death, man, as said by Job. And also spoken of, where's that? Is that Psalms? Was that a Psalm of David? Let's go here. Bear with me. There we go. The book of Psalms, chapter 23. Let's get this. Hey, we need Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. Without him, we're doomed. You see? Let me see here. I'm going to go straight to the point. I'm going to start at verse 1 and jump down. A psalm of David, right? Our beloved king, warrior, prophet, right? The father of Solomon, which was Yahweh Shai, if you can receive it. The Lord Yahweh is my shepherd, I shall not want, right? All we need to do is rely on Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. And all will be added unto us, man. He's going to protect us, guide us, and guard us. But we have to believe. Jumping down to verse 4. Yeah, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, man. And again, a valley is a low land, man. It's a low region. You see? This place is low on many levels, man. Morally being one of the main reasons. You see? The shadow of death, man. Because this is the battlement of snares, man. There's many places to fall here. Okay, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me, man. Which are these scriptures, man? This truth. We're comforted through this word, man. Understanding that it's the only way out. And ultimately, as said by Yahweh Shai, okay, if the days are not shortened, which they've been shortened, everybody can feel that. No flesh will be saved. And matter of fact, let's close out with that. And now we understand why. Okay? Because we're within the rulership of a madman. You see? Matthew 24 and verse 22. And except those days should be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved. Red letter, Yahweh Shai speaking. But for the elect's sake, Lord willing, we're part of that precious number, those days shall be shortened. And we're in the time of the Lord shortening the days, man. There was an article not too long ago, some piece of information where they've actually come to the conclusion that they might have to add a leap second, man. Because time is going by so quick. You see? So what's really happening? This is not a figment. This isn't just written. Time and time again, the Lord showing us that he's dealing, that his word is faithful and true. Because what's happening in real time is cohesive with the prophecies, man. So we know our power is faithful and true, man. We just waiting for him to come. And he's on the way. And that's without a doubt. There's no doubt about that. Okay, we just got to continue to stay prayed up. You know, fast often, Akiyam and Akwaf, through the spirit. You know, and hey, keep your eyes in the skies, man, because Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is on the way. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kwedash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. Lord willing, you Akiyam and Akwaf will edify. Shalom.